Well, 2020 hasn't been all that kind in terms of new releases. I think I've only listened to maybe about three or four. So I've been needing to go back into last year of 2019 to really find some really juicy new music. And this is where we find ourselves now. So let's dive into this one. Here comes the man from the council with a flamethrower by A Formal Horse. Holy jeez, do these guys love a long name for their albums. So A Formal Horse is a Progressive Rock Archives calls them a heavy prog outfit. They take a whole bunch of different genres and kind of mush them right into one another. Like I'm getting a very big sense of the dream synth pop stuff from, say, like the Canadian artist of Always, mellow, very dream-esque aspects of almost the indie rock as well, but surrounding that is this heavy guitar-led chugging math rock that's coming in here as well, and it flirts with like the metal tendencies of being very, very hard and very, very driven in certain aspects, while still maintaining this extremely mellow and dreamscape. These like dualistic aspects of this band kind of thrown into one another, you would think doesn't quite work, but for this outfit, holy geez, does it ever. Now these guys have been around since like 2014, putting out smaller outfits and smaller releases, like only maybe 3 or 4 songs per release. I can definitely see the growth that these guys have done within this particular outfit. This is technically their first full-length LP. And all the music that they have kind of made up until this point has been a stepping stone and a growing block to get to this point. I'm still blown away by what I'm listening to on this particular release. All the songs here are very short, only about 3 minutes being their maximum. I think the longest one is about 3 minutes and 47 seconds. But most of these songs actually bleed and blend right into one another, so it produces this overall like singularity of music. I never feel like, oh, this song is too short. I always feel like one song is going right into the next. The lead singer of Haley McDonald is so haunting in her presentation. It's so crisp and clear, and it's very operatic as well. Like it feels like she's this opera singer that's coming through and breathing this whole new life. And whenever she's hitting those high notes, this is the air of a brilliant singer. Even though like I can tell like she's coming into maybe the end of her comfort zone when she's hitting a lot of these very, very high notes, it still feels like she has miles ahead of her. And she's also very able to bring it down. Like she's able to just be this verbose and big personality when it's called for, especially on songs like Bee and Petroleum and Lonely Doe, Young Doe. She's also able to bring it right down into a very personal and very soothing aspect. And this is where that dream synthwave is coming in with like the opening track of Magazine Zoe Deschanel, as well as like Unison 3. She's able to bring it right down into this very personal and almost that current trend that we have with a lot of popular artists where it's almost a whisper sing, like we see that with Billie Eilish. But at no point do I ever feel like she's stepping into that overused indie singer, overly nasally, overly unpronounceable. I also really want to shout out Benjamin Short, the lead guitarist on here. His playing style is brilliant. It's all over the map. Like I can hear all these different math rock tendencies and playing off the beat, and at certain points it's sounding very much like a Robert Fripp style from like the Discipline era from the 80s that I might not necessarily be a big fan of in terms of those albums, but I love the style. This is especially found in songs like Boarded Doors in Bedford Place, as well as Coda. I mean, his playing style on Coda alone, I was just like, what is this man doing? Holy jeez. And Russell Mann being on the bass line there, his bass line, it really paints that solid foundation on this. And that's seen on tracks like B and songs like Coda. Unison 1 is, you know, it's very prominent without ever really needing to steal the show. And he's not just copying whatever Benjamin is doing. And that's a sign of a really, really good bass player, when you're not just following suit whatever the bass or the lead guitarist is doing. And I gotta call out Mike Stringfellow, the drummer on this track. Like, his ability to keep time on some of these really strange time signatures is really outstanding. I really got to give the man props. I'm really, really digging this album. It's been hard for me not to tear myself away from it to help review some of the other albums that I really wanted to talk about, but I just found myself within the past 2 weeks coming back to this album time and time again. Now, I will say this album isn't completely perfect. Like, it's so close. The one criticism that I will give is there are a few moments on this album that I wish the songs did play out a little bit more before they went into the next movement. Songs such as Coda and Unison 3, as well as B, I wish stretched their legs a little bit more, maybe even pushing into the 4-minute mark, but I can still see what they're doing with these shorter and tighter song structures and not wanting to commit themselves to any one particular sound. I still wish, like, there was a few moments where I'm just like, oh, that was such a great jam. I want them to just maybe one more reprise would be good for me. I mean, what we have is still brilliant. And if I'm lamenting about what we don't have, as opposed to lamenting about what we do have, that's still a sign of a fantastic album. So I'll label this as I love this album with my whole heart. I'm giving this one the complete note seal of approval. If you haven't listened to it by now, go and do so. It's well worth your time. It's got something for everybody as well, and that's a really big sign of a fantastic album where you can put this on and please pretty much everybody. And yeah, so that's about it for Here Comes the Man from the Council with a Flamethrower, because these guys love their long titles, from A Formal Horse. Have you listened to it? If you haven't, go and check it out. And if you have, let me know of your own thoughts by commenting down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.